Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Okay, here we go again. This time we're gonna do meatloaf. That's it's a little over a pound. Garlic salt, Lori seasoning salt, Mrs. Dash basil, our onion salt, onion powder, complete. We're gonna use some breadcrumbs. We're gonna use a little bit of milk. We're gonna use 1 egg. Bell peppers and onions. Remember I told you when you get them home from the market, cut them up, put them in the freezer. That way they're always ready for you instead of you waiting to have to chop them up and go from there. This makes life easy for me. Easy. So move it on. And then we're also going to use some provolone cheese. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I'll be right back. Here's the ingredients again. All right, I'll be back. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna put in the onions and the bell peppers. Get them all in there. Everybody's got to be a part of this party. Come on in. Okay? Then we're gonna go ahead and put in some of this complete. All right. I'm going to put in a little bit of garlic salt. And then with this particular recipe, and I'm just going to dump the rest of this in because there's not much in there. And with this particular recipe, make your meatloaf however you normally make your meatloaf. This is Lori's. We're just going to give it a little twist, okay? So however you make your meatloaf, that's what I want you to do with this one, okay? However you normally make your meatloaf. Like I said, we're just going to give this one in particular a little bit of a twist, okay? All right. I'm going to put in some breadcrumbs. We're just going to pour it all in there. Forget it. Ain't much left. Okay. We're going to put this egg in. All right, and then we're going to add something that some people do and do not add. We're going to add a little bit of milk, okay? Just a little bit, okay? We can always add more if we want to. Remember what I said. You can always add to it. You can't always take it out, okay? I'm just putting on my gloves because this is going to be a messy, gooey mess. But it's sure going to be good when we're done. Okay? So you're just going to break that meat up. And then work on getting all... You don't want to, mess with this too much. No more than you have to. But you definitely need to get all this stuff incorporated. Because you'd hate to have one bite where it just had onions and bell pepper. Or one bite that just has breadcrumbs. You know? I'm going to get all of that incorporated in there together. Get it all in there, okay? Mix it all up. Get all of that up in there. Get it all in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to divide this meat up into 2 parts. And you're going to see what we're going to do with that. And if you've never had your meatloaf like this, you should absolutely, definitely try it. Because trust me, you never know what you like and you don't like unless you try it. And this is going to make you want to just kiss, hug, or slap somebody, okay? All right. Okay, I'm going to get my dish down, and then we're going to put part of this in a pan, and the other part, you'll see. We'll be right back, okay? All right, so remember what I said. We're going to use half of this. So we're just going to kind of score it. Divide it up half as best as we can here. I'd say that's about half. Maybe a little. There we go. And we're going to kind of form this up a little bit. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of flatten it out. You know, just like you're making a regular meatloaf, we're just going to do a little something different with it. I wouldn't suggest using the meatloaf pan for this one. And the reason why is because you can't pinch the edges to hold the cheese in. So that's why we're not going to put it in a loaf pan. Okay? I mean, you could probably work it out. It just makes it easier for me if I do it like this. Okay? So flatten that out a little bit more. Okay? And then, there we go. The cheese. I use provolone because it stands up to cooking. It really does. I mean, it doesn't do all that extra burning that you get from so many other cheeses. You know, you don't have to worry about it burning. We're going to use a little extra because we want this baby to have cheese. And you may even get some that seeps out. It's okay. I mean, it's, you know, it's okay. All right, and then we're going to take the rest of this meatloaf, our mixture rather, okay? And then we're just going to put it right on top of this, and then we're going to pinch the edges a little bit, kind of close it up. Onions flying all over the place. So you want to get that flattened out a little bit more. I mean, and this, like I said, this is to make your meatloaf how you normally make your meatloaf. And use the cheese that you want to use. I just prefer provolone because the fact that it doesn't burn, it holds up. And I mean, it holds up. We just kind of mush it together a little bit. And then we're going to kind of close up the edges. Can you see that? A little bit more closer so you can see what I'm doing. Kind of close those edges up, you know, to prevent as least amount of your seepage from happening as possible, because we want all that gooiness going on in the inside. We don't want to lose too much. You might just lose a little bit, but it is quite all right. And then we're going to make a nice little filling, or whatever you want to call it, to go on top. I called it filling. I guess we shouldn't call it filling because that's what the cheese is. So we're going to make a little gravy to go on top, but it's not going to be gravy. Okay? So there's our meatloaf, all sealed up. See? Kind of like a big old hamburger patty. And you can make it any shape you want. You don't have to make it look like a hamburger patty like mine. But I just wanted more cheese to be in the inside of this. So there you go. This is our meatloaf. We're going to put this baby in the oven, but I'm also going to put a little water in the bottom of this pan, okay? About 1/3 of a cup. That'll be enough. There we go. Water in there. We set our oven to 350. We're going to bake it. We're going to bake this puppy. See how much water? Just enough to really cover the bottom with a little extra. And we're going to bake this covered in the oven for about 1.5 hours, maybe 2 hours, because I've gotten this puppy a little thick. So I'll come back and I'll show you what we're going to put on top of it in just a little bit. All right, what we're going to do now, our meatloaf is out of the oven. We're going to put a little something on top. We're going to start with just ketchup, whatever brand you use. And we're going to put a little bit, then a little bit, and then a little bit. Okay, and a little bit. Okay, she's trying to take the whole container of ketchup. Remember, you're covering up your whole thing. So this is probably, I don't know, maybe close to a cup of ketchup. We're going to put a little bit of mustard, whatever mustard you have. This isn't my normal brand. When the pandemic happened, I told you I'm trying to get rid of some of the stuff that I bought. Beggars cannot be choosy. We're going to put a little bit of mustard in there, just to give it a little tang. Okay? We're going to put some of the honey bear in there. If you've never tried this before, that's fine. Today is a good day. And put a little bit of honey. This honey is going to help coat it. And the glaze that it's going to make on top, you're going to be like, hey, I like that. So we're going to mix this up. I'm just using a fork, just mixing this up. And then we're going to pour that on top of our meatloaf. Now, you don't have to do this. You can just use your regular old ketchup like most people do. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Do what you are comfortable with. And even if you don't want to use the glaze, I mean, you can make a gravy sauce and go on top of this. And then we're just going to pour this on top. Let her drip all down the sides. Let her go wherever she wants to go. Just make sure that your whole meatloaf is covered with this stuff. We want coverage. We want full coverage. We want it everywhere. And trust me, if you've never tried this before, that's okay. If you rather do something different with your glaze, do something different. You don't have to do it exactly like I've done mine. You can just, you know, since we did put cheese on the inside, you can just put cheese on the outside if that's what you want to do. Okay, I'm going to put this back in the oven. Let her do what she does. We're going to bake her. I'm going to put a little bit of water in the bottom again. It just makes a difference with the stick. We don't want everything sticking like crazy. Just a little bit. And now I'm going to stick this in the oven for 350. I'm going to let it sit in there for about 20 minutes just to let that glaze get on there baked. Come back, show you what it looks like. Bye-bye. I'll be back. All right, as you can see, the meatloaf is done. You can see the cheese in there. It's little bitty little pieces in there. I didn't want my cheese overbearing. That's why I used the provolone, the thin slices. But you can still see it in there. But it'll give you a little cheese. But if you want, you can always add a lot more. See how beautiful that glaze turned out? Look how beautiful that glaze turned out. Okay? All right, and you put a little bit of mashed potatoes with that. Mixed mixed vegetables. And there we go. We got a meal. Look at that. We've got a meal. We have a meal. We have a meal. All right, you guys. There is our meatloaf. There is our meatloaf. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Everybody be blessed. Stay safe. Bye-bye.